Welcome to the Quantum Alignment Show. I'm Cindy. I'm usually in the background, but right now I'm going to be here on the front, and we're going to be doing our show on getting to the heart of me. This is my partner, Jamie. You might know her as the Potion Lady. I'm going to quickly share screens. Or I was, but it's not letting me, so we'll try this again. And again, this is the Quantum Alignment Show. Karen is traveling today. You may have seen her. It's like you may have seen her class on there, but we do the quantum essence. So again, we're our guest hosts. And today we're going to get to the heart of me. We're just going to take a minute and come back and introduce ourselves again. So hopefully you can see both of us. But again, I'm Cindy. I'm the one that you can usually hear in the background asking Karen your questions. And so both Jamie and I are quantum alignment system practitioners at the level 3. So we've been studying with Karen for a while. And Jamie has some more things. Do you want to just tell me about you?
Sure. Well, some of you guys already know me as the Potion Lady. I do the flower essences for the quantum alignment system, and I'm also an energist. I do pretty much anything energy healing, EFT. I'm a homeopath, of course, flower essence practitioner, and teach with Cindy. Coming out with Cindy more. We're stepping out into our power, and
And really working with that 821. Well, we're going to go back to sharing the screen again.
Cindy's out of here.
So briefly, what it is when we say we're quantum alignment system level 3 practitioners, what is a quantum alignment system? It's the protocols and system that were created by Karen Curry Parker, our host for the Normal Quantum Alignment Show. And it combines human design and subtle energy techniques to help you align with your quantum essence, what we call the quantum essence, or your highest authentic self-expression. For people new, really quickly, Jamie, do you want to handle what's human design?
Yeah, so one of the main things to focus on in the quantum alignment system is, of course, human design, which is a combination or a synthesis of Western astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the Chakra system, and we bring it in with quantum physics as well.
And now, again, what we titled the program was Getting to the Heart of Me. And so you might be wondering, well, where is heart located in human design? And most people know or have at least heard of the 7 chakra systems. And you can see that right over here. And where there's 9 centers in human design. So the heart chakra is part of the body here that's in green, but with the heart chakra here. And in around 1797, Ra Uru, who is the founder of human design, or the creator of human design, or the channel for human design, mentioned that our energy centers was actually the heart center actually split in 2. It's still both the heart center, but in human design we call it the identity or G center, which on most charts would be the diamond in the center. It can be open, where it would be white, or it could be colored in yellow, and the will center, which is the little red triangle down. If it's defined, it would be colored in red in your chart, or if it's undefined, it would be colored white. So when you're looking for your soul's purpose in the heart, the G center, which again is that diamond in the middle, is where your self-identity, love, and direction are located. And it also happens to be where the magnetic monopole resides. And Jamie, did you want to talk a little bit about the will center?
Sure. So then in the will center, be the place where resources are based from ego and our willpower, to be able to do things, be able to, excuse me, allocate resources, come from heart and speak from the heart of ourselves and our true integrity, and sometimes getting shot into exciting adventures to allow us, having the will to keep going.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, here I zoomed in, and I don't know, some of you may have attended Karen's class on the Quantum Heart Activist class that she just held. I think it was the first week, early in February of this year. And Karen has been sharing a lot about the G Center and the higher expressions where they were going. And so, but we wanted to go through, since we're trying to get to help you get to the heart of yourself, go through what the highest expressions for each of these gates. Because in human design, we have gates that are where the energy is like, where the planetary energy can express through, or the vibration of these gates. You have all the energy of all these centers, like the G center and the will, and then it kind of contributes, or well, I see the word contribute up there, but it's how the energy flows is through these gates and channels in there.
Yeah, and when we were talking about the synthesis of, what creates design, the gates are actually what correlate to the Chinese I Ching.
And so the Chinese, if we're going through, I'm just going to, and Jamie, she has a little sentence for each one. So I'm going to give the introduction, and Jamie's going to go a little bit more in depth. But we're going to go around with a very brief introduction to each of these gates. So the gate 10 is self-love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when I tuned in with each of these this morning and just asked them what they wanted me to share. And love is, I love myself, and I love myself enough to follow my own path.
The gate 7, equal voice.
Yes, I am heard. And this one, you might find yourself questioning, am I heard? You might almost feel like meaningless in the world, like you have no voice in the world. So yeah, this one's all about just knowing that you are heard and you do have
And you can, gate 1, unique contribution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one says, I am attuned to the flow of my creativity. And my creative flow serves a purpose.
The gate 13, forgiveness.
Yeah, I am able to release my attachments I carry of others.
The gate 25, spirit.
Yeah, I am love. All is love. I surrender to divine order. This one, if you catch it lower, you might even find yourself angry with God.
Well, we're trying to stay in the higher
we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that later. Yeah, don't worry. If you hear me say something that wanted to come through on the lower end, we're going to talk about that later, so no worries.
Gate 46, vitality.
Vitality says, I feel strong in my body.
Gate 2, here at the bottom of the G, support.
Support says, I trust the universe to support me, and also I allow support.
Gate 15, compassion.
I am compassionate in every moment.
And then coming over here to the will center, Karen was sharing that the will center is not only your will or your ego, but when you're going through the higher expression, if you start using the word service, so that you're using your will for service, the gate 21, service through sharing.
Mm-hmm. This is another one with a theme of surrender, and this one says, I surrender easily because I trust.
Service, the gate 40, service to community.
I allow myself time to rest.
The gate 26, service to integrity and truth.
Yes, I am in alignment with my integrity.
And the last one, the gate 51, one of our favorite gates.
Yeah. And Gate 51 today said, I am good enough, and I handle what is happening in each and every moment.
So just so you know, right now, currently, the sun is transiting Gate 51. And we had talked about how you can feel truly empowered. Well, when the sun is transiting, so it's lighting up the energy of this gate. And in traditional I Ching, the Gate 51 is called the Gate of Shock.
Yes, I know that.
And both Jamie and I are laughing about that, the Gate of Shock.
I know them very well.
Well, and so what that can, and when I think of shock, that's one of those that you'd sit there and go, oh, how can that gate have a higher, well, actually, in traditional human design, it's called the Gate of Shock. In traditional I Ching, it's actually called the arousing.
Ooh.
It's like, well, both ways. And if you recall, the higher expression, let's see if I can make it go backwards. The higher expression of the Gate 51 is spiritual service, which is you're getting that shock to bring your service or your will or your ego into service. This is just me talking, and I'm sure that when I throw the ball back over to Jamie, she'll add more into it. But you're bringing that, you're allowing the energy that might bring that. First, it might feel like, oh my God, how could this be happening right now? Like it could be an electrical storm that takes out the electricity. It could be a shocking thing that happens in your health. It could be even, I mean, in the lower ones, it could be that all of a sudden you kind of twisted your ankle or something came through your job. But how can you use that way that kind of all of a sudden puts you in shock? Like, how could this be happening right now? How can you turn it around so that you can complete the channel and bring that power, that initiation into your connection, your I am connection, I am connected to spirit. Mm-hmm. So again, and the sun is transiting this actually until next Tuesday. And so we have lots of unique opportunities to experience this. And now I'll go back to that I Ching one, this arousing energy.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wanted to add? I mean, oops,
yeah.
Go back.
Went too far.
Went too far.
Yes. Yeah. I find it to be a lot of when it hits the fan, it gets real. You can kind of just be going along and all is well and everything's smooth, and then all of a sudden you get hit with that jab. And in that moment, you might get stunned, and it's like, do you fall down or do you get back up? And when you get back up, you're given this beautiful opportunity to really align with something greater than yourself and really align, taking your heart and bridging it into the soul of who you are. And the more in alignment you are and you're able to see what it is and have the awareness to be able to make something good from it, you're really given this opportunity to kind of level up, per se, and really rise into a deeper level, a deeper knowing and a deeper love of source, divine, God that lives within inside you. So, it's really just kind of, to me, if you get hit, how do you get back up? And when you get back up, there's really knowing this energy, there's a beautiful opportunity. And even in that, in and of itself, if you get knocked down, for me, I'm emotionally defined. You knock me down, I want to hit back, but now I know, okay, I have this awareness. I just got shocked. I'm emotional. Pause. What can I do with this? And how can I take this, whatever it is that's happened, and how can I stay in love? How can I stay connected to source? How can I stay connected to God through this situation? And knowing that because it is willpower, I have the will to endure this. I can get through this. And, so for me, I just find that the more that we go deeper into this and have the awareness around it, that we're really able to take, even what seems like shit, and you can really, use it as fertilizer and grow something beautiful from it.
Well, that's it. I have to make sure I'm unmuted now. So I'm so used to being muted during these. So that's an interesting way. I mean, and since the sun was transiting it, again, that's like highlighting this. Mm-hmm. But if we were going to go, because again, Karen, and you've heard Karen mention this about the resiliency keys, and having that true connection can make you feel empowered. Mm-hmm. Allowing things outside of yourself, which is often what shock will do. It's something outside of outside of your control, or something that can take away your power, or you feeling power within yourself, being empowered. And that's part of why focusing on getting to the heart is important. Mm-hmm. Just in case you're wondering, we are not screen sharing, just in case. So we're back up there.
Yeah, we'll check my notes.
Keep going on that. Now, so what are some, when we're looking at empowerment, I mean, now we're going to segue a little bit away from the 51, but kind of in the same tone, because the 51 is how can we use that arousing energy, or that energy, that initiation energy, or shock is an,
and we should just
the spirit.
Just for clarification, it can be good shock. It's just usually, for whatever reason, the way it works, it's usually like a shock that knocks the wind out of you, or kind of like, whoa, but there really can be good shock, so I just to throw it out there and not put everyone into fear that.
Well, you and I both were saying, well, we're going to use this as surprise. I mean, because shock can be a surprise too. Yeah. And when you have that surprise, then you're looking at it. But again, why would you focus on, or why should we go within the energies of this heart, of the heart chakra, bring our energies back to our heart chakra? Mm-hmm. How does that make us feel more empowered? I mean, obviously, if you're bringing it back, you can see that you're going to bring it back to self-love. You're going to bring it back where you can have the empowerment for vitality. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, self-worth is also a lot where you're looking at, but if we're focusing on heart or power, I'm sorry, empowerment. I got stuck in heart.
It's in her heart.
How can we focus? How can we use the energies of the transits? Because some people, I do not have the 51 activated in my human design natal chart. Mm. It has been, I mean, there's certain things that were activated via transit, but for someone that had the 51 in their natal chart, do you have as 51 in your natal chart?
It's not in my natal chart, but I'm heavily conditioned. My father was a triple 51.
So if it's in your natal chart, it's the energy that you're putting out. When a gate is defined, that means you have consistent access to that energy. Mm-hmm. And that energy is projecting out into the world. And so you would be, when people are around you that might not have and those of us that are here to become wise about it, your energy may kind of shock them into a newer awareness, or attune them to a newer awareness of their connection to spirit. Mm-hmm. Or it could shock them into out something new about themselves.
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, when you have, if you have this energy, again, it's nothing to fear. I mean, yes, you may have more shocking experiences, but you're designed to handle it. Or you wouldn't be able, you wouldn't have the energy if you weren't able to sustain the shock. You wouldn't carry it consistently. Where those of us who have it undefined or white, we don't have consistent access to it. I'm sorry, my dog is going really crazy right now. So when we experience the energy of shock, we might feel it a little more deeply because it's like, whoa, like I'm not used to this. But thankfully, since we're not hardwired to carry it consistently, we usually just catch it through a transit, so we get the flavor of it, we get the experience of it, or if we're around somebody that has it. But again, we might feel it more deeply because if we're around somebody that has the 51 and they're making their impact with their 51, and then we come in and we take it and we make it bigger, we can feel that a lot more.
Okay, let's go back, because there might be some people that aren't, or even bringing a new awareness. When you have it open, so it's not activated in your natal chart, you set it, and it's like when that energy comes at you, it's like you amplify that energy, so it actually becomes bigger. But I want you to amplify that.
Amplify that, yeah. So like for me, I through my own awareness and learning that my father had the 51 so many times. So like, I'm kind of big energy. I could be a very shocking person. And it's funny because I always thought it was tied into a different energy. And even growing up, I've had many, like, if I told you all my life story up until this day, you'd be like,
I know.
What? How are you still here? And how are you not in jail or something? You never know. But I'm here and I'm not, and I have a clean record. But no, but in that, I could really get myself into some stuff, or just go somewhere and like just the most bizarre, shocking things happen. Through the conditioning, I'm kind of gotten used to it my own self, but now that I'm not in that energy as much, I'm catching the flavor and I'm deconditioning from it. Now I'm seeing the other side of it of, okay, when it does transit, how does this impact me now?
Well, and that's a good way to look at it when you're doing that. I mean, we're still just focusing on the 51 because there's a lot of energy because all the planets transit through the whole chart. And sometimes we get really stuck in what we have natally. And we've said it, I know Karen has said it, we've got to remember that we have the energy of the whole chart. That is, we're a whole person in the chart.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have it open and it comes to you, like you said, in your environment, and it can be that can be something really surprising. I mean, let's go with that surprise again. Say you go into a coffee shop or into a restaurant and now I know you have the 25, so that's kind of like your energy is very attracted to the 51.
I'm very attracted to the 51.
It's a magnetic, and it's a magnetic, or it's an energetic pull.
Mm-hmm.
So when you feel that energy, since you have the 25 natally, it's like, oh.
Yeah. And I can handle it. It's like, I don't know, it's like I can handle it. I can get through it. I have a defined will as is anyway. But yeah, so it's like, but yeah, I can feel this like, logically, if I know the 51 is going to transit, I can put myself into kind of fearing it, honestly. However, if I just be and just let the energy flow as it is, when that 51 comes in, if a shock does come with it, it's like, okay, dig in, pull your big girl panties up, and like, let's get through this, because I know that we're rising to something bigger and something better. And I just use it knowing that I have the 25 is an opportunity for me personally to grow deeper with God. But for, if that's not your thing, that's fine. It can be just growing deeper to source. deeper to the divine, whatever it is for you.
Well, Gayla was saying on Facebook, she left a comment, and this
Oh.
is, I can see it. It's hard to deal with someone that has the 51 and they're living out the lower expression. I mean, we're sitting there focusing on trying to keep up the high expression, but there is a low expression of the 51, and that might be the person that lives to shock people or just to see how big of a shock they can be.
Yeah. And I think in that, as much as it's easy to say and not as easy to do, but it really is, it's personal. It's just energy. And whose shit is it? Is it yours or is it theirs? If they're wanting to like be annoying with this, seeing where are they coming from with it, and just kind of, and that's part of why we focus on our own heart. Is because, it's still going to get on your nerves. We're people. We're human. Things can get to us. But the more you're in alignment, the truth of all this that we're going to be going through, you're able to deal with it more. So, but I'm not saying that you're never going to feel an emotion around it. Absolutely not. Because sometimes enough is enough. But on the other hand, if we really can take it back, knowing human design and, for those of us that know it and know that a lot of times it really is not personal. It's just the mechanics of the energy, nothing more, nothing less. And when you can step outside of that, taking it personal, and just feel like, now for Galia would say, bless their soul, they are really living out the low expression of the gate 51,
Well, I'm sure that some of the people listening, Kimberly also on Facebook said she has 51 in her human design, and it's like that can be another one. You can live out, you can go through both ways on it, and it's like, well, it's kind of exciting. My daughter has the 51 natally in hers, and you have, I have 24 years experience with her. Sometimes just so, but you had all the experience where your dad had the 51. How many times?
3 times. And here, I'll have a 51 story that just popped in my mind. So this is like a gate 51 story. When you're riding with your father, who's a triple 51, and you're amping it, and your 25 is just hooking in. We were driving down the road one day, and I was younger, and back then you didn't have to wear seatbelts. So I was just in the front seat with Daddy, and we're riding down the road, and I was leaning against the passenger door. So I was like laying with my back to the passenger door and my legs stretched out, and the door came open. And my 60 miles an hour down the road, and I'm like literally hanging between the door, and my legs are still in the car, and he's oblivious. And I'm like, I couldn't say anything, so I'm like hanging onto the door, and he is just cruising down the road. And it's like, that's so gate 51. And then he looked over and he's like, oh my God. He's like, why didn't you say something? And I'm like, because I was in shock, Daddy. That's why I didn't say something. But like, that's so gate 51. You're riding down the road and all of a sudden the car door opens and you're hanging on for dear life while the car's going like 60 miles an hour down the road. Needless to say,
you just really amped that 51. So that was a real shock to you. And then also a shock to your father when he turned around and saw that in there.
Funny, thinking of my childhood shocks, so many have been with my father. I almost drowned twice with that man. Yeah.
But it was exciting. That's exciting, and well, I don't know, scary.
Exciting. I never felt more alive once that door shut. I can tell you that, though.
I know, but look at how that. Okay, we're good. This is me going around there.
No.
Oh well, Nina asked if we were going to be discussing the one she has the 26 like you have. She asked, and so how that connects in with what the 51, the 26 we had mentioned earlier, is has an now why can't I think of whatever it is, an attraction,
electromagnetic
and it's they just, those words just,
I just like to give Cindy a word. It makes me feel smart when I can give Cindy words, so she doesn't know the words.
Well, electromagnetic connection to the 51, people with the 26. And Kimberly says she's very caring. And yes, you can be with it. There's nothing that says that people that have the 51 are going to live the lower expression. It's just sometimes just the energy of the 51 can lead other people into having surprising experiences or shocking experiences or experiences that bring them closer to feeling the joy, feeling happy to be alive.
Exactly, yeah. Because that's what I was just thinking. What came through is that, for you, Kimberly, because you do have the 51, you might even attract people that are in shock. And you being the nurturer that you are, and you being familiar with, the energy of the shock, like that just allows you to give even a greater depth of compassion or that nurturing, or, however it's playing out for you, to give that care, because you kind of that.
So when we're going back to what Nina, it depends on which way, had asked about the 26. I mean, to the higher expression of the 26 is your connection to spirit. It's a question on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so I hope I'm not butchering your name too bad. I probably am. I'm sorry right now. But that is, I mean, the people with, depending on, what you have, if you have the gate 26, that means you have consistent energy where you're which could be your draw to connect to your spirit. I mean, it could be one of your main, the 26 is in the G center, so that's that could be one of your
the 25's in the G.
The 25's, 26.
Integrity.
Oh, let's go to the right one. 26, you also have the 26.
I also have the 26.
I do not have the 26. I have the 44. That's another one of those electromagnetic connections that you and I have together. But the 26, what the high expression, and I can share the screen again. But let me first get to it, because I have that page up there. But again, the higher expression of the gate 26, which is again off the will center, and what Karen had brought to our attention is the will center is usually your seat for the ego. Willpower is in there. And the gate 26, the high expression, is your service to integrity or truth. Now the low expression would be, it could be the sleazy salesman. And the medium one is the coyote energy.
And it can be like the trickster. It can be a liar.
It can be, but those are all just expressions of how you would use that energy that's in there. And it's also, when you have the gate 26, you have that access to, well, depending on if your will center is defined, because it's only people with a defined will that have really willpower to push through or to make, and that isn't very many of us that actually have that defined will, that are able to push through.
It's only 1/8 of the population has a defined will.
And with that 1/8 of the population, they also are, as Karen will say, they work to rest. I mean, your willpower can push you and push you and push you, but then you're going to have, so that you don't burn out, you're going to have to rest.
Yes. Trust me on that.
As I'm watching questions as they come in.
But also,
she says her will center is undefined. So that means that you have, the access to the gate 26. So the service to be in integrity in what you do and say. So you probably are you want to try, this is what I would say, to try to always be in integrity in what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm feeling almost like an egoless service, just being in that service. And I think that's the beautiful thing, for those of us that do have it defined. Our ego, for me, I have ego definition. I'm going to talk about myself. That's mechanical. I can't help it. I can't help it.
Well, we have some comments on Facebook. Charlene says she has the 26 and Dan has the 51. So those are
Okay, yeah.
relative, that he calms her and helps her.
Mm-hmm.
And Kimberly again, who said she had natally the gate 51.
Mm-hmm.
She leads people into being creative,
Yeah.
but that shocks them because they say they're not artistic. And she teaches painting. They're shocked that they can paint. What a great higher expression of the 50.
Exactly.
I mean, that is a wonderful higher expression. And going again with the gate 26, that's that's energy that you have consistently that you're sending out into the world, which can be the trickster. It can have a wave of it. So lower expression can be the trickster. Higher expression is trying to lead to integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to add something on that.
No, I'm going to be honest. I blanked out for a minute because I saw a question in the Q&A, and for whatever reason, my monopole is attracting every blinking light, and I'm a open-headed manifesting generator, and I got like message notifications popping up, and I totally checked on that. I can only be honest. See, I'm in my integrity. I can only be honest and tell you that I never saying something about the 26th, but I got sidetracked.
Well, the gates are the gates can correspond to body parts.
Mm-hmm. Like I know the gate 40 is, because that's my conscious sun, so I know this one well. It's like it's digestion. It has to do with digestion. I'm not.
The gate 13, and now Sharon is asking in our Q&A, like the gate 13 is connected to our ears. Now, according to, that would usually, if you were looking at ears, that would be one of the centers usually in the head or the throat, could be connected to the ears, mm-hmm. according to Karen's book, and I'll hold it up, Understanding Human Design, is the gate 13 is actually connected with your liver.
Maybe, yeah. And maybe, excuse me, she was saying like the 13 because it's the secrets. It hears the secrets. I don't know if that's
you hear the stories. I mean, all the stories. So you're hearing, but the gate 13, let's see if I've got it up now. It's like, oh my goodness, I have to keep looking before I share.
This is our first time doing this, and we're doing it during a Mercury retrograde. With gate 1
you guys are taking your chances here, but now she brought up the gate 13. Now, when you look, the gates are not in isolation. Like the gate 13, which in the highest expression, or when you're looking, is forgiveness, but you're also hearing the stories. And it has, its channel connects to the 33, which is in the throat center. And that would be, so that would be one of the connections that you could have to the gearbox or to the throat, that you could be able to, hear the stories or tell the stories.
And that's where the forgiveness comes in. If you think about it, if somebody comes up to you and they tell you something and it's not something that you agree with, mm-hmm. wrong, and maybe you're in a profession where you're a counselor or a coach, or just a friend, and somebody like comes up to you and, I just have to tell somebody, and they just, they verbal vomit their whole life story or this event that happened that confided in you. And it's like, you are the keeper of the secret, but you could, if you're not in that place where you are able to, disconnect and not be attached to what you're hearing, if you're not able to stay witness or be the observer to it, and you take that personal and you take that, because we're dealing with the heart chakra and the chakra system, we're dealing with the soul of who we are in the human design chart here. That can be hard if you hear some heavy stuff to forgive.
So we had another comment question on Facebook from Gavin, and he was talking about the gate 25, 26, and 51. So mm-hmm. With the question mark, and going back, the 25 is at the highest expression is your connection to spirit. Mm-hmm. So in your low expression, I'm sure Jamie can talk about that one as she has it defined in her chart.
Yeah, you can get angry, like, because it's like the love of spirit or not, so it can almost be love or hate, love or anger. You might find rather than, loving source or being comfortable with source, you're off put by it. You might want to, quote unquote, turn away from God, or you can even probably feel abandoned. There can be other factors that play out that can bring you to this point that like you're angry with, whatever it is for you, divine, with God, you're mad at them, how could this be? Or like if you have the 51 pushing that energy to you and you're not in a place of alignment, you're not in a place where you're able to see or just pause for a moment and check it out, like you can immediately just get, how many times you hear people go, why God, why me? Why me? And they can get really angry that this event happened to them. And this 2551 is known in human design. It's like the channel of the shaman or the priestess. And you think about how usually there's like some kind of deep innovation, or what's that word, invocation? Help me out, Cindy. I need your word.
I'm there, but I'm trying to figure out.
Like the invocation?
The invocation, yeah.
Yeah, invocation. Yeah. They go into these really deep, dark nights of the soul, or, they have these experiences that rock them to their core, the phoenix rising up from the ashes. But in that, these are the people that usually sustain these things that we're like, what? Like, how are you able to do that? Because that's the beauty and the power. And once they come out of the dark night of the soul, they rise into this, beautiful being, or have this beautiful experience, and they're much more connected rather than the anger and asking why me. They're saying, thank you for that experience. Look where I am right now. I give all thanks to you, or, whatever the words may be.
And again, Gavin had asked on the 26th, and that's where your service to integrity or truth, where you have to, so the energy that you're putting out is really that energy of truth. Mm-hmm. Now, we had a question again from Nayana Rama. So she has the gate 13 in black, but it's only, she doesn't have the channel, so it doesn't reach the third. And that does, she says, just that mean, I don't tell my story, but forgive within myself. So that having that energy is, you're kind of putting that, and I would imagine that people with the gate 13 are still hearing other people's stories, and you're helping them to forgive themselves. And then we had Lila asks, I have a Divine Will Center, but an open gate 51 gate, and her partner has a 2551 channel active. Are you saying I will amplify his shocking quality? Oh, well, you can amplify it. Mm-hmm. And it's also that, since he has the 25, that's part of the electromagnetics that probably attracted you to your partner too. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to look at it can be him surprising, it can be shocking, but it's your connection or your initiation into experience. Mm-hmm. Kathy says, yes, the 51 in the dark night, but seeing light at the end of tunnel. Well, that was a very nice comment. Yeah. Kimberly's saying, may I ask, my 11 to 56, 20 to 34, and 16 are prominent. What are these? We're coming up on we can do that. I will take, the 1156, you're the seeker and the storyteller. So that I have the 1156, and we'll often say that when asked, because I do not have a motorized throat, when asked, I can release the Kraken. So I have ideas that are coming there. You want to take the 20 to 34, the 3420?
Yeah, so this is like a really, really, really powerful energy combination. It's like the archetype of what the manifesting generator is. It's power and charisma. It's very charismatic energy. It's very captivating, but it's really powerful. It moves really fast or not. Again, depends on how, where you are in your journey. And are you talking, Cindy?
No.
Okay. I saw your mouth moving. I saw your mouth moving. No. Yeah, sorry, I thought Cindy's been known to talk to herself like that. So yeah, so that's just, and if you have it in a prominent placement in your chart, it's just, again, a lot of impact. I like to see definition as impact. apparently the phone agrees. There's your outside confirmation, so just a very impactful, very charismatic. You're probably attracting people to you, and you're giving people voice. I mean, we're talking life force to throat, just a straight shot, so it's going to be impactful. The 16, enthusiasm. I had the 16 in my unconscious son. I get really enthusiastic and I'm really excited. So if you have this combination together, here you are, this charismatic person, and you're so enthusiastic when you're in your flow, and it's like you're just catching everybody on fire with you, and it's like it's a really beautiful, beautiful and empowering energy, I feel.
It is. Tasha, and we have time, and I see we have a question actually here on Zoom that I'm unsure if we've answered yet. It was in what is the 13 to 33 channel with the defined G? Well, it gives you a defined G and a defined throat center. Mm-hmm. So again, it's your sense, having a defined G is part of your sense of purpose is going to be actually hearing other people's stories and helping them come to terms with it, and then telling your own stories and being able to share. And I think we had...
Yeah, and I will just add that it's also, it's a beautiful, and it can almost be a vulnerable space, because when you speak or you're invited to speak, you're speaking from your soul. You're telling the soul of who you are. So it's really beautiful. I think it's a really beautiful energy.
Now, Tasha is asking, what if the entire right side of the chart is white? So as we're both looking at...
I know, we're like, wait.
Let's see if I can get back to the chart there. And yep, there's a good part of the chart. But what that means is that it doesn't, that just means that there's connections in there or you have that part of your chart, you don't have consistent energy to those. Man, I hope.
Not so much as like on a Western astrology chart, where like my Western astrology chart, everything's up top, so I'm more to be visible and seen, and
Okay, so she's talking about
the
right side here. So what I would say, that gives her an open emotion. I'm looking at it, so I'm hoping an open emotional solar plexus. So you're empathic, and if you have the open will, that means that you don't have consistent access to willpower, but it just means that you have that. It isn't like in a traditional that you're more public in there. That's just another way. Mm-hmm. You can still have access to all that energy. It's just going to be coming to you from outside of your, through your environment, which could be the transits. It could be people in your environment.
Yeah, and also taking it as an opportunity to look at, like, here is where you house the potential to be wise about many, many things. So if you're not as familiar with human design, just kind of check out Karen's book and see, what each gate is, what each center is. Know that, like, these are places that you're really here to be wise about.
Here we are, Karen's book again. Understanding.
Karen's book. Yeah, that's rather than, I lost my words.
So there's
to hear what's out. This is a place where you can be with more.
We're coming up because now
we have one more. Do we have one more?
So what I want to do real quick is I want to go, and then we'll come back and see if we can answer a couple more questions. But I want to make sure that people can see. I want to share our screen because we're going to go. I want to get back and I want to get back to what we were talking about, getting to the heart of me. Again, when you think of heart math and you think of the heart chakra, we were focusing on the two centers in human design that are associated with the heart chakra of the traditional chakra system. And what we wanted, and you can tell that Jamie and I can go fairly deep into. And right now we're really, within an hour, you can only really touch because we've been studying human design for a long time, and we still like to go deeper, but we're starting a 12 module program because if you were looking, there are actually 12 gates within the G and the Wilson. Each module will be 28 days long, where we're going to focus on one gate of the heart of human design. And really quickly, there's 4 live coaching sharing calls via Zoom. And you'll get 28 days of lessons with journaling, exercising, and thought-provoking dream seeds that will be delivered to your email box daily. So you're going to have like a daily lesson. We're not saying that's one of those, and some of those, all you're going to do is you're just going to sit and think about it. Some people might like to write about them. And if you wanted to know, we'll put the link in the comments, and it'll also come in when the replay is done. But going back, since we are on, oops, it just does not like me.
It's
the sun is currently transiting. Normally these modules, these 28-day modules, would be as an early bird. Since we're just starting this program, we charge $97. But since the sun is currently transiting gate 51, and we want to surprise while the sun is transiting gate 51, we're actually putting them on special for $77 per module. Or if you want to go deep into what each of the gates, and remember, whether you have an activation in your natal chart or not, you have energy for this heart center that you can use to become wise and see how that energy can affect you so that you can become more centered and aligned. $77, or you can, and we'll put, if you want more information, we also have the complete program on sale while the sun is transiting gate 51. And now, really quickly, you can find us, and we might have a couple more minutes that we can see if there's just a couple quick questions that we can answer. But Jamie and I also, we do a Facebook Live every Tuesday, and we follow it. We're both, I'm a generator, Jamie's a manifesting generator, so we follow our sacral on what our discussion is and what time we usually do it. But we try to do it at various times so that different people throughout the world would be able to watch us live. And you can find us if you look for Quantum Energists on Facebook and join us. I'm going to wrap up, and then your purpose in life is to find your purpose and give your whole heart to it. And Buddha said that.
Yeah. And, I just wanted to real quickly say, it's like a beautiful opportunity if you really are trying to get back to the heart of who you are. And for you, the approach that me and Cindy take with this is not to line you all up and say, okay, everybody, this is the way you're going to be. This is how it's done. We're going to work with you, and we're going to spend a month on each gate so that we can really go through and peel back all the layers and really get you to the heart of who you are. All we're ever going to ask you to do is be you and just show up where you are, how you are in every moment. And when you come in that form, just being where you be, that's really going to help us get you to the true heart of who you be under all, of whatever it is that may have gotten you to the place that you are right now.
Okay, so there's been a mention of gates. We have a couple minutes, and remember, you can tell I usually do this with Karen. I'm the timekeeper, but
no, I'm looking.
BB's asking, has there been mentions of gate 51 and 26 being connected? Is that because as opposed to being a channel? Well, the gate, they are both, the 51 and 26 are both in the will center. They're not connected. It's the 51 to the 25, which gives you definition, and that was the channel. And Jamie, you mentioned that. That's the channel of the initiation to spirit. The 40, and since and I see all the gates, but as we're focusing on the heart center, the will, and the 4037 is off of the will center, and that's another one that Jamie has completely defined, and I have the gate 40. Well, the 4037, if you recall the graphic, is your service to your community. And it's also on, when you have that, it's also part of the ego circuit, well, the ego circuit or the business circuit, where you're looking at your contracts and how you can serve your community the best. One thing to look at with the Gate 40, and I will have Jamie talk, is usually you want a little bit, there's times where you're going to want to be alone. That's one of the alone gates.
Kind of what I find with the energy is it goes out in the community, and while it's out there, it's scanning and it's reading and it's listening and it's seeing what the community needs, what the people need. Like, intuitively knows as well as what people say. It's been in this energy long enough and it gets filled up, it can't digest anymore. Then there's this period, and this is where resting the will, I'm finding, comes in. That you need to pull back from that and just sit with yourself and decompress. And in that decompressing, you're also integrating. And then clarity comes forth from, okay, this is what the people need. And then you start getting, called back out almost in a sense. It's like when you feel that aloneness start to come, rather than relaxation and relief, then that's when it's time to step back out into the community and bring the knowledge or the wisdom or the answers that you've gotten in that time of withdrawal.
And one more, and this one you might actually put on your integrative health counselor one, but it's from Facebook. So Lila, we just spoke about the 4037 channel. Jenny says, I've just come out from an urgent hospital visit for 9 days. She's been bleeding from an inflammation for a year now in her stomach. And they gave her a biomedicine kit, and it was an instant effect. But over these 9 days, it's happened so much. She feels here and now for the first time, for real. It feels like my feminine power and heart energy have been connected to my masculine energy. Can the 51 have something to do with it? She's a manifesting generator, and she has the 51 in Jupiter and the 26 in Saturn. Well, at this time, the 51 would have something to do with your Jupiter. Whether it has,
that can be like the shocking experience in and of itself. The 51,
but it's also the surprising experience where she's saying, since they gave her this biomedicine, it had an instant effect, and she's feeling like she's in the here and now, right now. Which is really cool. And that's kind of like that's a higher expression of the Gate 51.
And even in that, it can show you how that quick, something that quick hits, and then you take the appropriate action to handle that situation, which for you was to go to the emergency clinic. And in that proper, because you were in alignment with your integrity and what was right for you in that moment. So rather than just freaking out or, just ignoring it or whatever, you stayed in your truth and integrity. For you went and got the proper care, and now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm here and now with this beautiful awareness of what was happening. I mean, what a cool story to tell. But I am thankful that you had the result that you did. I'm so glad, because that's still a long 9 days would be long. So good for you. And good for you to come out of it so, I'm hearing with a fresh set of eyes and ears and like a whole new way of being. So good for you.
So now we just want to take, we've gone a little bit over the hour, so we just want to take a final wrap up and thank everybody for allowing us to come on the Human Design for Everyone or the Quantum Alignment Show and allow us to share why we think getting to the heart of I'm getting to the heart of me and study and really going into depth of what these energies and how to align with the higher purpose. But also, I want to say, and this is just something I feel like, even if you're to allow yourself to forgive yourself if you have been expressing the lower parts of these, and that's fine. Everything is in divine time, divine right timing.
So it's always all good, and it's always as it's meant to be it the good or the bad. We're we're growing in every moment, in every moment. And that's why we say, if this is for you, and even if it's not, that's okay, but just moving through life, be okay with being where you are being and who you are being in each and every moment. In each and every moment, no judgment, just love, and just be where you are and know that that's exactly where you're meant to be, and it'll pass.
Well, it'll pass. And that, again, that I noticed that you focused on that word being, and that's, it's who you be,
Yeah, the heart
not
of
what
who
you
be.
do.
Exactly. The heart of who you be. And that's where we want to get you. That's where we want to get you, is to the heart of who you be, you know? Because once you find that, and even if you don't get all the way there, because I mean, me and Cindy still, you know, go through our own processes, and we're going to go through this with you, you know? But like, it gets better and better and better. Sorry.
But thank you, everyone. Thank you for seeing us.
Thank you so much.